Yo, yo, yo. Dude, it's Nebraska week already.
Yeah. Yeah. I swear to God, last week was Illinois State week. No, wild.
This season has flown by. Well, welcome, Hawk fans. We are at the season finale until bowl game time of the Walk-ons Podcast presented by Hawkeye Heaven. How's your week been, man? Good?
My weekend last week. Well, yeah, I actually had Thanksgiving #1 about an hour ago across the street at my in-laws. Great weekend for football. Great weekend. Hawks won. Sooners upset Alabama. Green Bay defeated your Niners. You were right on that one.
I don't want to talk about that.
God, did our basketball teams go undefeated too? I think.
Yeah, and the women are ranked now, baby. Except
for the men. The men kind of forgot to shoot free throws.
That's all right, man. But they rebounded with a good victory the other night, man. So, man, I cannot believe how fast this season has gone by, dude. It feels like we just started. 3 weeks ago is what it feels like. It's unbelievable.
Something like that.
But it's been fun. It's been fun. Yes, happy Thanksgiving out there, Hawk fans. I guess we're gonna give you your appetizer before we feed you the turkey on Friday. What's up, Brent? Brent in Canada. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what up, Joe? Man, big week, dude. But hey, let's get right back into it, man. I know it didn't look at some points like a really good game, but I'm gonna tell you, man. And we talked today. This was a classic Iowa football game. Defensively, bend but didn't break. Did you know that Maryland had the top passing offense in the Big Ten coming into this game? They still do, actually.
I feel like they've been #1 or at least top 3 for like the past however many years, ever since they've been in the Big Ten. Does it seem like that to you? They always get wide receivers.
They always do, man. They have the 12th. They still have the 12th best passing offense in college football, even after Saturday's game. So they came in averaging, about almost 305 yards passing a game. We held them to 129,
which
in the
our secondary. Yeah. That hasn't been up to speed this year. Hey,
yes.
See this highlight right here? That is my player of the game, my friend.
Oh, man. That guy was money, dude.
18.
And the best thing about this was, man, they didn't have many people in the stands, right?
Of course, they never do.
11 o'clock kick. We did not give a shit. We went out there at Iowa football and just beat the shit out of them. And I know it seemed like it got hairy in the second half, but honestly, it really did not, dude. Lopsided as all get out. And look at this shit, dude. Boom. That thing's good from 60, 63. like that.
I do got to ask, though, did it seem like every time he went up to kick a three-pointer that we always had the wind on our side? No, and I'm not taking away from him at all. Don't put words in my mouth or any Hawkeye fan. I'm just saying, did it seem like every time that we just, the good Lord was like, okay, wind's going the other way?
I don't know, man. I guess I didn't pay attention to that. Was that the case?
I'm a weirdo. I love the weather, man. I'm a nut. But it really was. Like, if you
look at that,
I would tell you to go watch the replay, but it's a snoozer to an extent.
Dude, this was a good game. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
This was a classic Iowa beatdown. We had two running backs rush for 100 yards. You know the last time that happened for us? In the same game? November 25th, 2016 versus Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
LaShawn Daniels, the first one.
Oh, that's right.
And Akrum Wadley had 110.
Akrum
Wadley. We had two running backs with 100 yards. It was bully. It was the bully football. The same football we saw against Northwestern, the same football we saw against Wisconsin, the same football we saw against Washington, the same football we saw in the second half against Illinois State. the same team we saw in the second half against Troy. It was just Iowa football, bully ball. Beat their asses in the trenches, dude. It wasn't even close, man.
I was going to mention, I think Shaggy solved the mystery of our recent road woes.
He did, man. And then this run, dude. I'm going to tell you. I think Caleb Johnson's gone after this year. I'm sure most Hawk fans will agree. There is no point in him coming back after the season he's having. His draft stock will never be higher unless he does a Gentry season. So, what up, Jay?
What up?
We're good at running back. I'm going to tell you that right now. Between Jazz and Moulton is set up for this position. He may not be as big as Caleb Johnson, but if you ever watch them run, those first couple steps they take out of the backfield, identical. Identical, dude. The only difference is here. It's that after contact second surge.
Who has that? Jazz Patterson. He's actually my favorite running back.
7-4, Bruce.
7-4. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I about said 7-5, but no, like Jazz is my favorite. I
love Jazz.
He runs hard. That's what I like about him. He runs hard, and I really feel like him and Moulton will be a 1-2 punch.
Look at that. 58 rushes.
And that's what I think get a little ahead of myself, but I think that's what they're going to have to do Friday because it's cold, dude. When you're in that cold of weather, you really don't like to throw the ball.
You know what's funny?
What's up?
We'll have to ask our guest when he gets on because I recall he played in the 2015 game, and I'm pretty sure it iced and was cold as hell for that Nebraska game. So we'll ask him what it's really like to get in there and play in the frozen tundra pretty much. But you're right, though. I mean, first of all, we're not going to throw the ball, period. Anyway, even if it was warm. Let's be real. Yeah. We have, let's see, we throw the ball. We have the 13th fewest passing offense. So what would that be?
I believe it.
120 out of 133.
I believe it.
That's crazy. Or no, fifth fewest. Sorry, 227.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, man. I'm used to it by now.
Little passes all season.
Here you go to the side, 5 yards out route. Whoop.
Hey, here's the thing, man. If it works, it works. And right now, as long as they're winning the trenches, dude, it is working, man. Big time. And I know we were talking, and at first we were like, dude, we're letting them into this game. And then we went back and looked at some of the numbers. I'm just like, holy shit, man. Big Ten's leading receiver. Yeah, he got 2 touchdowns, but he only had 56 yards.
Who was covering him? Did you ever catch that?
I didn't look. I think it was a combination, honestly. It kind of depends where they were throwing the ball or which side. But I think one of them was the pick TJ Hall had was on him, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go back and look at that. But
so it was. Okay. Who do they got this weekend?
They have K-State, and they go to the Big 12 championship game if they win. It's at home, too.
That's a toss-up. I don't know. That's
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was Hall. Yeah, we can call him Tanner. It's fine, Jay. We knew what you meant.
I feel like the Big 12 is just – Big 12's nuts this year, dude. It's such a shitty conference.
Well, I'll give him a prediction. I will for him. I honestly, this is the biggest game they've ever had in their whole football lifetime history on Saturday, and I think they get it done, personally. So kudos to them.
I mean, if they make it to the Big 12, I think they'll lose in the championship. I think Arizona State wins it, the whole Big 12.
They're playing on fire right now, dude. On fire, dude.
You know what's funny to me? I don't know if you've seen the graphic for it, but Kansas is not as bad as their record.
Oh, is it the one where if you eliminated the 2 minutes left in the
Yeah.
game, they'd
Yeah.
be 9-2?
Yeah.
I saw that shit, dude. How would you like that, man?
I would be scared. Nebraska deals with that all the time, or did deal with that all the time.
Oh, that's some next level shit, though.
I would be afraid to play Kansas. I'm not going to lie to you, dude.
They have 4 straight ranked wins.
Yeah.
And they're not even close games. They're like comfortably manhandling these guys. It's like Big 12 is actually lucky that they decided to piss around for the first 8 games because they'd all be in trouble right now, dude. To be honest with you.
It's just nice seeing Colorado. Well, Colorado still has a outsider's chance to get in, but
they got Kansas manhandled them, dude. They manhandled Iowa State too. They just keep doing it, man. Kansas is hot. They might be one of the hottest teams in the country. It just sucks that they don't stand a chance and they're a sniff. But
yeah.
Hey, I want to talk about this guy for a little bit because I honestly don't think we all realize. I mean, we all know what kind of year and season he's truly having, but check this shit out, dude. Already. Career all-time rushing TDs. He's 4th with 30. The record is 33. He averages 1.9 a game. If he plays the bowl game, he should break or tie that record. So he'd be number 1. Rushing TDs in a single season, he's already set that. Dude, I don't know if anybody will ever get close to that again. What he's doing, Sean Green did, and then before that was even before that. Rushing yards in a season, number 3. Rushing yards in a career.
Who's
nowhere in the top 10?
Yeah. You know what's funny? So I remember saying like a while ago, but this was before all the opt-outs and portal and people skipping stuff for whatever reason. I figured.
What up, James?
Oh, God. Goddamn SC fan. I figured that with all the new kids and all that stuff, it was going to be records were going to get broken. But with all the opt-outs and all this and that, I don't know if the records are, I don't know if they're going to fall as easily as they used to. Do you think?
I don't think they will either. Because this is only going to be 3 years worth of work for him. Everybody else, most records are set in 4-year time. There's not many people that are setting these massive records in 2-3 years, right?
Right.
My chance, I mean, he's gone after this year.
Yeah.
Bowl game, so. James? Dude, I don't know, man. I'm torn. I'm 50-50 on that. It kind of depends on the bowl game and what Iowa has to play for and prove in it. If it's some sort of not so good bowl game versus not so good competition, I think he doesn't do it for sure.
My bold prediction is they're going to Orlando for the 800th time. So you could be close, bud.
I think it's Tampa this time for the 800th
Do you?
time. Yeah. Either way. Might even play those Cox, James, in Tampa in that bowl game.
There is a couple.
He's got a lot to think about, honestly, when you think about it. So I did some number stats for you. I know I was telling you about it. So he's 3 shy of the touchdown. He averages 1.9 a game. If he plays the bowl game and continues at that clip, he will leave as number 1 in touchdowns. He needs 358 yards to break the single season record of Sean Green's. So he would have to average 179 a game to break that. That's if he plays the bowl game again. Right now he's on clip. What I say, he'd finish 4th all time in career, 2nd in a single season.
Yep.
Let me see here. He averages 135 a game, so he would finish, 1762 if he did that clip. 2nd all time behind Sean Green, single season. 4th all time in leading rusher in Big Ten program or in our program history. 4th in 3 years. So we don't even get to see him in the 4th year. If he stayed a 4th year, goodbye to all these records, dude.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Thanks,
This
UCLA.
This is special, man. I mean, we're seeing something more special than we realized, to be honest with you. And when you put it up and you see something like this, dude, it's like this is a once in a lifetime player, once in a lifetime running back for Iowa. And Dude, I mean, if I did my Mount Rushmore now, like we did preseason, I'd probably put him in it, dude. He is just I said it one game or one of the shows where he's like the player you built in the NCAA game at running back. Like, oh, what's your running back? Oh, he's almost 6'2", 230 pounds, but he runs like a freaking freight train, speed and strength. Like, dude, that's everything you build. I mean, look at the dude. I know a lot of NFL teams that would love to have him right now. I'll take him.
I think he goes second round, early second. I don't think he's good enough for first.
He's not. Definitely not a first rounder, dude. Running backs don't usually go in the first rounder.
No.
But
I'd be curious at who would want him though. Like who's gonna pick him? Probably a rival. Probably a rival.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. I told you I'd take him as a 49er. I don't know about you, man. Christian McCaffrey's on his last leg. To have a 6'1", 225-pound running back with that speed and that tackle breaking ability in the second level, dude, I'll take him all day, dude. Like, this is phenomenal, dude. He's on pace to basically have two Iowa rushing records basically in 3 years. Jay, man, yeah. I think all of them would. You'd be stupid to tell me you wouldn't. Obviously, Genty's going to go first running back off the board, but he's second and probably not far behind, to be honest with you. Running backs just don't go in the first round very often. What was it? Robinson was the last time?
I think
a couple years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
And everybody was like, dude, what are you doing taking a running back so early? It's panned out for them, but same time, you never know. But, yeah, I mean, I hope we get to see Caleb in the bowl game, dude. Honestly, I think I'd like to see it, but if he were to opt out, I would not blame him personally. I don't know what your thoughts is on that. Opting out of bowl games has always been a thing, so that never bothers me.
I mean,
seasons and 3 or 4 games left, I don't like. But
I personally don't like it, but I'm not gonna cause a scene on the social medias and freak out, and my life has ended.
I mean, since last show, I think, what was it, Harris opted out the remainder of the year?
Yeah.
Hey, man, whatever.
And that whole controversy with the quarterback situation, we're still not going to get into that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't.
Yeah, we're not touching that.
So tired of it.
We're not touching that. But hey, crazy news though. They're both apparently practicing and could serve as QB2. We won't know until Saturday because the Big Ten allows you to report the last second bullshit still.
Sweet.
Right? Can't wait.
Just what?
Who would you want it to be?
To beat Nebraska, I would say Sullivan, because they just don't. So they're kind of they're gonna get mauled by Johnson. Their secondary is dog shit, and I can name one specific player that I would tell you to throw to the receiver that is getting covered by this particular person, because this guy is dog shit, and I can't wait until he's out. Without giving too much away.
Not yet, anyway. Wait till the year-end show.
Yeah.
It's coming, man. It's coming, dude. Man.
Got 10 minutes till the big dog guest comes on.
Big dog guest, yep.
Did you watch any football this past weekend, college-wise, besides Iowa?
I did not. I was busy doing stuff around the house, man.
So,
James is my brother, y'all. Now we got a couple cocks on here. What the hell is this shit? Where are we at, Hawkeye fans? We're letting these Gamecocks out comment, you guys.
Well, this is what happens when you share to non-Iowa and Big Ten groups. You get the herds, man.
Or you get something like this.
Or, God, could you imagine, though, if we go to a bowl game and frickin' we play South Carolina, how wild this is going to be for like the next. I'm pretty sure Boss Man's going to want us on show every week just to be an ass.
No, that's fine. We'll bring it back. There's another whatever Gerber means.
I think it means Gerber.
Gerber. What's wrong with you?
Sorry, guys. We kind of timed tonight's show a little bit off because
there it is. Go Hawks, baby. There we go.
Somebody was excited. What's this? Watching on Tube Lift. I'm proud of you, man. Thank you.
You are a nice guy. A nice guy.
That is true. Shouldn't you be working there, Andrew? I thought, or is it break time? He told me he was getting off at 11, which is 10 my time. Let's see. Did the state football finish?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Southeast Polk won again, baby.
I'm not surprised. I'm trying to think. I know they announced a couple former Hawkeyes in the Iowa High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. I know Brandon Wager was one.
Yep.
And then my former neighbor / best friend for like when I was a kid, Roger Meyer. You remember him back in like early 2000s? I miss that guy. I actually would like to see how he's doing and get together and tailgate with him sometime. But yeah, he got elected, and I think that's it for any former football players.
Hey, man. My thoughts on this, Kyle, is I think we'll see some teams that just not even go to their bowl game. So I don't think we'll run into that problem.
Does everybody know that that there's still that 5-7 rule where whoever has like the best academic GPA out of all of those 5-7 teams gets a bowl berth if they run out of 6-win teams?
Well, they got plenty right now. They actually think they might not have too many. They have too many. But I think there's going to be some teams that just may say, I don't think we're going to play. I could be wrong. I don't know.
We don't deserve it, man.
I mean, this is the first year with the playoff. We've already seen some weird things happening. NIL, we have players sitting out the whole year. We have players opting out of last 3 games. I mean, I would not be surprised if we see a team just say we're not accepting the invitation. We're going to move on. I'm pretty sure Iowa did that one year when we were 6-6. I'm pretty dang sure we opted out. I'm almost positive.
Did they do COVID?
No, we didn't play that many games, man. Oh, I gotta look here.
Because I swore that I know we didn't play games, but like wasn't it like didn't they give everybody the opportunity to have a bowl game and they didn't go?
Well, yeah, we didn't go to our bowl game. We didn't go to that one extra extra game because they added Michigan to our schedule.
That's right.
And then Michigan was just kind of meh. It is what it is. Let me look here. So I'm pretty sure we opted out of a bowl game. I believe it was 2012. Let me look.
That makes perfect sense then. Are you sure we didn't have a losing record that year? It was that was a bad year.
I don't know why I have this in my head. Oh yeah, 12 wasn't it.
I'm gonna laugh if you look for it and it never happened.
2000. Yeah, 2007. We finished 6-6. So we did not play in a bowl game. 12-game season, finished 6-6.
Well, yeah. Do you remember the last game that we lost to? Freaking Western Michigan.
Western Michigan? Night. Yeah.
Thanks, Jake.
Now.
Yeah.
Terry's all right. Crazy game. Yeah, there's too many of those. Yeah. Really.
They'll win the bowl game. I don't know about this weekend.
Nebraska, they have to be invited to bowl games to turn them down, buddy.
They are, dude. We'll get invited. They're just like Iowa and Wisconsin. Their fans show up.
Oh, man. All right. What do you say we take a quick little breather here, 45-second breather, and then we'll be back with hopefully Tyler Kluver will be on, host of the Washed Up Walk-ons and former Hawkeye. We'll get his take of the weekend's game, what he thought the season's been going like, and just kind of shoot the shit with him. So hold tight. We'll be right back. We're back. Shout out to the Villain Sports Network hosting this, putting this on for us. Great guys. So if you like talking NFL, you like talking just all things college sports, even pro wrestling, man, head on over to that page. Like those boys. Great dudes. Lots of stuff going on there. If you haven't already, give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow, comment with us tonight. We like the engagement. We like to have fun with y'all. We want to know your take on how the season's gone, how you think Nebraska's going to go. And yeah, that was Jake Christensen, quarterback that year. 6-6 and said no on a bowl game.
The lefty.
Yeah, Wolf, man. Oh, man, we got some time to kill, I guess. Crap, man. Shout out to some of our other teams.
Yeah, I thought so I know he was a lefty. Here's a trivia question for us both to give us thinking while we kill some time here. Do you remember what game he got taken out in 2008, Jake? Because he started like half of the year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. And then he left the program, I'm pretty sure.
Because I'm pretty sure.
He ended up just like never playing again and just kind of left the program. And then it was like, who's Jake Christensen?
I think he stayed on the sideline and finished out his job, and then I think he left. Like he
was a highly touted quarterback out of high school, and that's why you can never know about those quarterback rankings, dude.
Yeah,
that's how much you put it that way. I mean, pretty sure he was a 4-star and one of the highest quarterback recruits we've had in a long time, and it did not pan out well for us, unfortunately. So now I think we have some quarterbacks, hopefully. I mean, what's your thoughts on Jackson on Saturday?
Do your thing. Just hand the ball off, man. Just like we got a triple threat, dude. Like, just shove it down their throat. I mean, their defense isn't bad. They're not world beaters. They've lost to teams that we lost to, and they've beat teams that we beat. So it's just going to come down to, end of game strategy. They know how to lose. Iowa usually knows how to win. As long as Iowa's ahead, Nebraska doesn't know what to do when they're behind. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, are we the same way? If we get behind, we don't know how to come back to? Or am I thinking of?
Not really. I mean, we don't have the offense power to come back, dude. We don't have the firepower. To come back, you got to have some firepower. We don't have that. And you can't come back in a game you're down running the ball because it chews up all your clock. So, we are not back.
And real quick, bold strategy by the University of Iowa for blacking this thing out. They are undefeated in their blackouts, and it's also at nighttime.
Baby. Dude, that's
just a recipe for disaster. So if I was going to pick Nebraska in the beginning, and then I just learned about it today, I would have switched.
Yeah, I mean
that alone would have said, okay, yep, you're not winning.
I love that strategy of blacking it out again, dude. To be honest with you, we're 7-0, dude. We were all black uniforms.
It traps that heat. I said traps heat too.
Yeah, keeps us warm, baby. Keeps us warm. He should be on any moment. Ooh, we got him. Let me see if I can see him. Yeah. All right, we won't waste one more time. From the washed up walk-ons and former Iowa Hawkeye. Please welcome Tyler Kluver to the show with us. Tyler, what's up, man?
Gave you a mouthful there.
Overkill, right?
Yeah, I don't know what my deal is. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Fantastic. Appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, of course. I really appreciate you having me. I haven't been a guest on a podcast in a long time, so.
Yeah, we're feeling good now, man. So funny story of how I was able to get in contact with Tyler. So we our first show aired, and we used the hashtag Hawks by a Million. And then, of course, you had somebody on Facebook that had an issue with it and was all on our stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to message him and just say, hey, you cool with us using this, dude? Because this guy was adamant. He wanted us to pay you guys, and you owned it and all this other stuff. So I'm like, yeah, we'll just clear the air and get this thing done. So I just reached out to Tyler, and I'm like, hey, man, we hashtag it. You cool with that? And you were like, yeah, man, it's fine. We don't own it. So and then I was like, hell, you want to come on the show sometime? And you were gracious enough to do that, dude. So we appreciate you.
Should have charged you. Could have made some money.
What? All right, man. How much?
We've tried to own it. Technically, I mean, so we got to do a big thing with the university about that, because their licensing and copyright and trademark
Right.
reach is really very involved and wider than you would think, in just a crazy way.
Yeah.
And we basically got down to the point where we were like, yeah, we're not going to own this thing. Like, the university is simply not. There's like, we're up against it here. And and so I basically got protection to use it, as far as like us. I essentially own the rights of selling it on merchandise. We do, through
Nice.
through them giving us protection and basically saying, hey, you can't own it because it's really ours, but you guys are allowed to use it for money and merchandise and all that stuff. So so theoretically, we do have their protection. Like, if we want to come after somebody, there have been other people who have tried to use it, still do to this day, use it on their own merchandise. I really don't crack down on it a whole lot, but yeah, it was a whole thing.
Jeez.
That sounds like a whole thing. We had Levi from Hawkeye Heaven on one of the episodes, and he was talking about the university getting involved in that Facebook page and how crazy that stuff is. So I can only imagine just how far they really reach out. If they're reaching out to a small little, well, it's not small anymore, but at the time, a small Facebook page, man, that's pretty crazy stuff, dude.
They are. It's not just Iowa either. The universities, I mean, they have whole licensing departments for a reason. They
Right.
protect their brand very, very closely, and I get it. But with us, it was a little bit of a different story. You'd think like guys who played for the team, who are trying to market and represent the team well after they've been in the program, you would get a little leeway. We had to twist their arm a little bit. But yeah, now we're here.
I love it, man. So how long you been doing the podcast?
We recorded our first episode on September 29th of 2018. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
6 years and 2 months.
Wow, dude. Yeah, I'm assuming you like it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be still doing it. To be honest.
I in the beginning I never intended for it to be a like a job. I to be honest, 2018 was probably 2 years after I started listening and consuming podcasts myself. So, we're talking like the early McAfee podcasts. We're talking,
Yep.
not early Joe Rogan, but like Rogan at the time. I'm into health and fitness as like my personal kind of thing. So, a couple health and fitness podcasts, and I had just started to be, I was from Marshalltown. My family moved to Ankeny while I was in college, so I had a decent 92-hour drive home. So I would listen during those times to shows, and that's the only reason I had an idea to make our own. And when we started the podcast, I didn't understand or wasn't even really aware that it could be a money-making operation, or like it could be something that turned into part of my career. And we were just doing it purely out of 100% fun, enjoyment, get together with the boys, tell stories, go through memories, provide the unique perspective that we had. And then it quickly took off to the point where, you know, sponsors or people who would potentially want to sponsor, that was a legitimate thing. And we were big enough and had enough listeners where that was appealing to advertisers or companies or businesses. And we had enough listeners who would buy merchandise and flags and t-shirts and all this stuff. And then, you know, it's grown and evolved from there. And so now 6 years later, it certainly is more of a job, my own doing, more of a job than it was when we started it. And like, right, like you get the financial compensation for that, and it's worth it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But there are parts of it now that I don't love as much as the purity of when we started it and we were making zero money. So, but yeah, it's not something that'll hold on to forever. It is going to end at some point. Right. And we've already gone through multiple sort of iterations and feelings of what the show is. And, you know, to be honest, like the three of us turned 30 this year, and like, yeah, Drake already has kind of been off the main show for a while, and he was one of the three that originally started it. Kevin just got married this past summer. I assume he's going to start a family at some point, have kids. His job is he's going to evolve in his career, and at some point he's probably not going to want to talk Hawks anymore. Like it'll just run its course. Right. At that point, I think, you know, I do, because it's become a financial sort of part of my career and how I put food on the table. I do think that I'll be the last one around with some version of it for the longest, but we'll let it go until it needs to. And then, you know, it is like anything, it'll end at some point, but for now it's good. I like it.
I mean, 6 years, that's amazing, dude. That
is incredible.
We've only been doing this. This is our first season of this. We started in August, and man, it is a lot of work. You're not kidding, and we're not even at the level you guys are at. Yeah. But you're not wrong, man. There's a lot of moving parts with this. A lot of people reach out to you randomly, and building the show, honestly, like, you guys record, right? Usually?
Yeah.
So building this thing out, I spend sometimes a couple hours building this thing out sometimes. So I feel you on that one, man. But it's fun. I love it so far. And I didn't play football anywhere. So, I mean, I have all 4 years of my eligibility, so I can walk on somewhere if I want to. I'll be that 38-year-old walk on, and everybody's kind of sharing the feel good story, thinking
learn to punt or snap. You could probably go do it.
I don't know if my leg can move like that anymore, dude.
You could snap. Snapping's not that hard.
You gonna teach me?
I'll teach you. Yeah, it's not that hard.
Bet, man. Well, cool. Man, what do you say we jump into this? I'm sure a lot of people know, so we'll probably ask you some Q&A. You all right with that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, man. So, Nebraska week. What was your record against Nebraska?
4-1. Okay. 2014, we lost. We were up. I'm sure I could pull it up. We were up 2 touchdowns, maybe more. And it was at home in Kinnick, and we gave up 2 huge punt returns to their guy that year, who was really good. I think he ended up he was the returner of the year in the Big Ten. But we gave up 2 huge punt returns that set up 2 short drives for them in the second half of that game, let them right back in. I don't remember. We might have lost in overtime, I think.
Kenny Bell.
Yeah, Kenny Bell, like in the corner. Yeah. So outside of that one that we basically blew, should have been 5-0, but yeah, 4-1, good record, good memories against Nebraska. Always just a good memories, because it was always a game that was like hyped up. Obviously, last game of the season, it was important. Trophy game, finished the year strong, all of that, and pretty much we took care of business every time and had a good taste in our mouth, you know, kind of walking out of the back end of the season. So, it was. Yeah, I don't personally have when it comes to the rivalry side of this thing, I was there just a couple years after they came into the league, and so it never felt like a rivalry to me. It definitely does now, a little bit more, but it's taken a while for that to be manufactured by the fan base and the games on the field. I think it just takes matchups and year after year, like actually building a record against each other to make that a rivalry. And even though we've dominated, other than basically twice in the last 11 years, I do think it's become a rivalry. The games are so good. We basically win on a field goal every time, it feels like. And
3 of the last 6, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it's just like it is a rivalry. But I'm gonna shed a tear when Nebraska stomp. No, we won't.
No.
I mean, they're not gonna stomp.
Yeah,
us.
no way, man. Come on, bro.
When's the last time that's happened? Iowa doesn't get stomped by anybody outside of Ohio State. It just doesn't happen.
No.
But yeah, it was. We were good. We were good against Nebraska. A lot of good memories.
What's it like in the locker room leading up to that one?
It's the same. It really is the same. Like
business as usual.
Yeah, we always talk about this. Like it was never a situation where we approach. And I think from the fan standpoint, it makes sense. Like, oh, we got to get up for this one. Like this is a big one. Or like, oh, we're playing Michigan. We got to get up for this game, right? We got to do something different to prepare for this game. And the reality is like you're going to be best and at your best performance-wise when you are locked into your routine and you do everything that you do all the time the best. You are the most consistent with your routine. And so to go outside of that and try and like find some new level, and this is on a micro level, like at an individual position level, me snapping, the quarterback playing quarterback, a tackle trying to like block the guy who's across from him, or just at a team level, like the whole team mindset of what you sort of take into that game. It's not going to go well. You're just placing an unintended effort and focus on something that isn't necessary. And Iowa wins games being Iowa and mostly focusing on them anyway, and not the opponent. Of course, you have to go through the game plan and stuff, but yeah, if they just play Iowa football, it usually works out pretty well. Brandon, I love your little tag. Runza is delicious. I like Runza's actually.
I already laughed about that. I agree. It's the best thing out of Nebraska is Runza.
Valentino's pizza is good too.
Yeah,
that is good. We used to have one of Names. I used to live in Nevada, so we used to go over there all the time for that shit. Yep. I love that. You're not wrong, man. I mean, we were talking about before you hopped on, the Maryland game is a great example of Iowa football.
Yeah.
I had people were like, man, we're letting it get close, but then you go back and you look at the stats and the numbers. It was never close, man. That was the number 1 passing offense in the Big Ten.
Was it?
Yeah, they were averaging 305 yards a game. We held them to 129.
It's pretty good.
That's right, especially when the secondary's kind of been the Achilles heel on our defense as of late.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have Jamari. I mean,
yeah, we didn't even have our best cornerback, and those boys. It's exactly what you said. It's what they came to play with what they do well, and they made sure they did it well.
Yeah,
and that was probably one of the most Iowa games we've probably seen all year, to be honest with you, when it comes to the defense. Bending but not breaking. Obviously, special teams were on point. I mean, Drew Stevens was 5 for 5. Punting averaged to 44 yards a punt, and we ran the ball straight down their throat. That was we already talked about it. That was the first time we've had 200-yard rushers since, 2016 versus Nebraska. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I was like, man, that's what he played. Akram Wadley and LaShawn Daniels. Yep. Yeah. So, you hit it on the nose, dude. That was probably the most Iowa game I've seen this season. It just the score didn't show it like people wanted, I think, but dude, that was a good win.
That's the kind of score that you get from an Iowa style game too, though.
Yeah,
right? Like a weird 29-13. That one's up there with the Wisconsin beating and probably the game that Sully came in and played against Northwestern. We just handled them that day. It's been a weird season.
It has.
The UCLA and the Michigan State games are just really weird games. and I don't know. Nobody on the outside has an answer, even though they think they do. And I don't think the coaches or the players on the inside, quite frankly, have an answer. They're gonna look back on those and be like, we really don't know what happened. But
Yeah.
playing Iowa football down the stretch, game 11, game 12, it's all that matters right now. Like we're 12. We have an opportunity to be. This is how we would talk about it in the complex, right? We're 7-4. We have an opportunity to be 8-4. It's the best we can be this week. We're not getting any of those games back. The best we can be this week right now, as of right now, is 8-4. And 8-4 isn't great. And for this year, you might even be able to argue it's not good, but absolutely, like across the country, that'll play, right? Like that'll in the when this team gets remembered and you look back and 10 years from now, people are like, hey, the last 10 years we've won 8 games, right? Like that matters, because you can't say that if you don't, in a season like this, win this 8th game, right? And I know right now it doesn't feel like it matters, but in 5 years, when you're like, yeah, Iowa hasn't won less than 8 games in 15 years, you're like, yeah, it's and that this game matters for that, and for a whole other lot of reasons too. But yeah, hopefully, I mean that's what you would like to see when they come out on Friday, is continued playing of Iowa football.
So what was your preseason prediction of Iowa win total?
I thought they would go 10-2. I think I said that on the show.
Yep.
And I don't feel bad about that. I don't feel bad about that. 9-3 was successful for me. So I guess you call this 8-4 season if we can get it on Friday, just a 1 game short of success. I usually come in with a more balanced or down to earth expectation or prediction than most people would, because I've been there and I know how hard it is to win football games. Like, I've watched my teammates, because I wasn't a part of the winning portion of a lot of things. Usually when I came in, it was something went wrong. We either got stopped, we had to kick a field goal, we got stopped, we had to punt. But I watched my teammates grind out a lot of work and do all the right things and still lose games, because it's so hard, and other teams are doing the exact same thing all week. They've been preparing in Lincoln all week, just like we have, with 85 scholarship guys, a shitload of walk-ons, and like that want to win. And you saw it last weekend with a lot of teams around the country. Ole Miss goes to Florida, loses.
Yeah.
Alabama gets beat by Oklahoma, football team. Like, it's hard to win football games.
Yep.
And from the outside, it's really easy to run your mouth and be like, unbelievable. How do they lose that game? How do you lose that game? I'll tell you how. It's 11 versus 11. And it's not hard if a couple guys are just a little bit off here. Like the quote, "It's a game of inches," is so true. It's so true. The gap between teams, the gap between Purdue, who is horrible this year,
right,
and Ohio State is so thin that on the wrong day, Purdue could go in and beat Ohio State. Something weird could happen. Like, it's so thin. Yeah. And yeah, you play the statistics, and like, most of the time you're going to come out and things are going to work out probably how they should, but not always, which is what makes college football so great.
That's why I love it more than NFL, man. To be honest with you.
Yep, same.
I'm a diehard college fan before I was ever an NFL fan.
I don't really watch the NFL.
Really? I was going to ask you who your team was, but never mind.
No, I like, I have a lot of buddies who play in the NFL, and I'll watch for them if we are, I have a daughter now. She's going to turn 2 in 20 days, and
nice. Terrible twos, baby.
Yeah, we're lucky. She's an angel, and it has been. But like, she's like, it's so much more important and easy for me to just on a Sunday, like, play with her all day and just enjoy my time than like watch football games. And I'm not the biggest fan. People who listen to our show know that. Like, I'm not your average common fan when it comes to that. If there's a game on, It's like nap time or she goes to bed and we're like, yeah, we'll throw on Kittle and watch the Niners a little bit, or let's watch Tristan play for the Bucks or something. You know, the Lions, because they basically have half of Iowa's roster. But
Yes, they do.
it's like I don't care. And I just don't watch a lot of NFL at all, really, and then some college games.
I don't blame you, man.
Yeah, man. I think this year, so I'm a Niners fan. I think I've only watched 2 games, maybe. And that for the same reason. I'm home with my family at this point. I'm like, do I really need to watch it? So like the only ones I really watch is the Sunday night games. I live in Florida, so they don't start till like damn near 9 o'clock. My kids are long in bed by that shit. So
I'm asleep by then.
yeah, usually that's past my bedtime. I don't think I stay up for past 11 o'clock ever anymore. Maybe on the nights we do this show, and that's about it. But
Sure.
yeah, man, that's way past my bedtime. But that's crazy. So you bring up 85 scholarship. Brandon had a question for you.
So I don't know the full details of this, but I did see something, and I heard something today on the radio that they're supposed to drop the roster limit to 105. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah. So this is going to be this is probably the biggest legislative change in college football this offseason. Not probably, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that is that right now there's no roster limit, right? So, in fact, Nebraska is a good example. Nebraska is a team that historically, as much as Iowa likes the walk-ons, and it's literally our entire show, Nebraska probably is the walk-on program. Like they're known for it. Big reason why they became who they are. It's how they built a lot of their the toughness and grit of the 90s, and it's a huge part of their program, and not only just the walk-ons, but stacking their roster to 135, 140 plus players. And they and Iowa as well. We don't go that high, but I think there was times where I remember my freshman year, I had locker number 118. Right.
Oh, wow.
So, and I wasn't the last guy. There was a couple in the 120s. So that's about where most rosters are sitting, somewhere around 115 to 130, call it. And I think I just brought this up on our own show, and I don't know for sure. There is a date somewhere, whether it be the first day of spring ball, or I doubt it goes all the way till summer, but I would imagine it's actually the first day of the spring semester, is your roster has to be at 105 or less. Has to be, right? There's 85 scholarship guys, so you imagine that's about 21, 22 per class. And then you have, 40-ish walk-ons, about 10 per class. That's a lot of guys. There's only somewhere you have to cut that down. Now, the scholarships are going to stay the same, but there's also the reason for this is because I don't think it's going to do what they think it's going to do. But the reason for this is their antidote to trying to stop Oregon and Texas and all these people with the most NIL money.
Michigan now.
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah.
From basically funding, you get your 85 scholarships, and then you tell 86 through whatever number you want on the roster, we don't have an official scholarship for you. But Phil Knight at Nike has plenty of money, and we're going to fund whatever that cost of that scholarship, your room and board, your books, your tuition, whatever that is, we're going to fund it just like a scholarship, just through your NIL money. So you're on scholarship all the same when it comes down to the bottom line. And they can do that. The biggest schools could do that for 200 guys if they wanted to. Now, at some point it gets absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't matter anymore because 160 guys on a team, there's going to be like 5th and 6th strings that are like, why am I here? I could go play somewhere else and actually see the field.
Right.
But it does matter to an extent. So their antidote was, hey, we'll just drop the roster limit down to 105. that'll make sure that nobody can have passed that number. And starting next year, there's also going to be a rev share from the conference, which is you get like 20 million or 22. Every school gets like 20 million, $22 million to split amongst their athletes. And so you can now pay the guys on scholarship as much as you want out of that too, but you could now theoretically fund those last 20, 86 through 105 on a full scholarship basis too. And I think I ran the numbers on that. It would be like $700,000 a year or something like that. Which added 22 million isn't a big chunk. Now you've got 100. So now now Iowa can say, okay. And basically every other school can basically say, okay, there's not a single walk-on guy on the field or on the roster. We just have 105 scholarships to basically give out when it comes down to the actual financials of it. So what does that do? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to hurt walk-ons a lot.
That's what I was wondering.
Like the walk-on essentially, or at least what it was or what it once was, it's gone. Which is sad. I mean, our fucking show isn't a thing if they don't have walk-ons. So, I'm playing at St. Cloud State or like Wartburg if there aren't walk-in. I mean, that's not true, but and nothing against those schools, but like I think KF in the press conference yesterday mentioned how like there might not be a Dallas Clark. Yep. Right, in this scenario, because when they made the switch from him, he's like a third or fourth string outside linebacker, and they're like, we got to figure out something else for this guy. They move him to tight end. The rest is history. But he's gone if it's 105, and he's the fourth string outside line. Like he's not there. So there's going to be a lot of a lot of stories that don't happen.
Wow.
And so I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. Like everything, it's probably an overcorrection that will be met with a recorrection. I hope.
Yeah.
I don't know where the money goes and how all that continues to funnel into the situation and the scenario, the formula. But for now, for the next couple of years, walk-ons are in a bad spot. And so I don't even know where that goes with recruiting. I don't know if that turns into now, the 10 walk-ons that you bring in a class, and you probably hope to get like 3 or 4 of them to eventually get a scholarship and be a real contributor on the team. And even then, those other 6 are huge for scout team and like bodies in practice. You now have to basically say, those athletes out of high school, and I could name 10 of them right now off the top of my head who are buddies who eventually ended up starting or became huge four-phase special teams guys. You're basically saying like, hey, you got to take the scholarship to North Dakota State now, or to Miami of Ohio or Western Michigan. Go ball out there for 2 years, and then when you become a name, or you raise your value to where you've been proven at the college level, now we'll come and get you in the transfer portal, and you can be one of our 105. But we can't give you a 105 spot right off the bat. That's where I think this goes. So I don't know.
I mean, we wouldn't have Caden Wetchen right now.
Yeah. Well, he's a transfer from Iowa Western, right? So we might have Weechin, but we wouldn't have a lot. Like I can name a lot of special teams guys that maybe a lot of regular people, like Sharar, a lot of these guys who are on special teams. Some specialists, right? Like you're not going to be able to stack probably 3 kickers maybe at this point, or like a third punter. Like you're going to have, that's at least going to have to be looked at, considered. There were several times on the roster where there was like 3 long snappers. There was at least 2 behind me. That third one might not be a thing anymore. Like it's just, there's a lot of things to consider. And some programs are going to hurt. It's going to hurt programs like Iowa, who are not in the elite of the elite for NIL and collective kind of things.
Do you think that has anything to do with us losing the kicker this week?
No, I didn't look into that. I would imagine he knows where he's going, or he was recently offered a decent amount of NIL money from somebody. I don't think the new roster limit has anything to do with that, but I think somebody. So the way it works with specialists is like, and he's the number 1 rated kicker in the country, so it only applies to guys like that. The top 5 specialists, top 5 punters, top 5 kickers, maybe the top 5 long snappers every year. Schools do end up valuing that. Like there's enough schools like Michigan or the Blue Bloods who are like, we're so good that we can dip into the specialists and be like, we'll take one of the top 5 every single year, right? And so they'll go to those guys. And now with NIL money, especially for a specialist, right? Like you're talking to a kicker,
Right.
You offer him $100,000 versus Iowa. I can tell you right now, Iowa for what was his name? Scott Starzik, I believe.
Yeah.
Iowa was not offering him a dime, as they shouldn't, from somebody who knows special teams and how much talent is out there. They don't give a shit about getting the number 1 kicker. Like, we're going to find a kicker. We always have. We always will.
That's true.
They barely gave me money once I started. It took me till my 3rd year starting until I was on scholarship. They're willing at Iowa. And, like, to be quite frank, there's enough kids who want to do it and are talented. Like, the supply is greater than the demand. So they don't have to go out and, like, give you a scholarship. Or, like, they'll find somebody to do it. And because there's a lot of guys like me who are like, I don't care. I'm going to play and have the experience regardless. And give me a scholarship. That's great. Don't, whatever. I'm going to take the opportunity. And, one of these Blue Bloods probably came around, started calling, hey, we could probably get you 50, 100, 200K in NIL money. And this number one kicker is like, oh, well, let me open up my recruitment again because I might as well take what I can get, right? Like, I'm going to use this whole number 1 ranking that I've got over the past couple years of high school to, like, grab a little cash. And to be honest, I don't blame him. I would too.
Dude, didn't we just have a walk-on kicker not that long ago?
Drew Stevens might have been a walk-on.
I think he might have been a walk-on. He's from North Carolina, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he was a scholarship or not.
I think he was a walk-on to start.
He might have. I mean, 50-50. There was a while there where we weren't big fans of scholarship and kickers because of a kid that was in the class below me that just completely didn't pan out, and a punter in the class above me that didn't pan out. And so that burns in the minds of coaches. They're like, God, we got to stop scholarshiping these specialists out of high school. This makes no sense. And like there's some legitimacy to that, but I think now more and more like they'll scholarship a guy. They want to continue to have some of the best special teams in the country. And if you're going to scholarship, if you're willing to pony up a scholarship for a guy coming out of high school, you can pretty much guarantee that you'll get a top 20 guy, especially now that LeVar Woods has created the reputation that he has with the special teams. Iowa can get whatever guy they want to get, special teams wise. I guess other than Scott Starzik, we're not gonna pay for him. But other than that,
just keep going down under for those punters, dude.
Honestly, yeah. If you're a punter and you want to play at Iowa, you better hope that you're from Australia at this point.
Damn right.
You might be screwed.
We had Reese on the show earlier this year, man. That guy it was cool to chat with him, man. He's pretty cool.
I bet it was. He's they have they've got no like sense of what this game or like the ecosystem even is. So they just come in and there's like, I kick ball. Yeah.
He wasn't worried about anything. This was right before the Minnesota game, and we're like, "Are you ready for your first Big Ten opener night game on the road?" And he's like, "It's every day."
Yeah, he doesn't know what that means. There's no baseline or reference point for that. Like Big Ten, what does that mean? How is that different from the first 3 games? It doesn't matter.
Oh. Yep. Right, and guess what? He had his best game of the year.
Yeah, the kid's basically since the Troy game, Reese has been lights out. He's been elite.
Yep. It really started then. It's pretty cool to watch him grow and bloom. So we talked about this earlier. So you played with a lot of elite running backs, big name running backs. From somebody that's been in the Iowa locker room and part of the program, how special is this season that Caleb is actually having? Like when I crunched his stuff to see where he's at like all time in Iowa after 3 seasons, I'm honestly more blown away than I knew he was having a great year. And then you put it into the stat form and perspective, and you're just like, wow, this guy is like a generational talent, dude. Like,
Yeah, he's better than anybody I played with.
God,
he's got it all. I mean, you got it right there. Looks great. Obviously broke Sean Green's record for touchdowns. The yardage thing we dipped a little bit because we had the Ohio State game. We had a couple tough games there on the road. And to be honest, like, not that Iowa has some of those rushing touchdown or any of the rushing stats, and this could be it could be NFL or college. Even though this year, last couple of years, the running back has made a slight resurgence in importance, which is fun to see. The way football has gone with how spread out and how many formations and wacky sort of ways to get into plays and spreading the field, using space, just the way that modern football has evolved basically from the wing tee to now it's going to be harder and harder every single year to be in the same conversation, all things considered, like in the numbers game.
Yep.
I think if you go and look this year, I'd love to see what Caleb Johnson, and actually last game was a bit uncharacteristic. I think we handed him the ball 35 times.
35 times. It was.
I don't know if we handed it to him more than 30 the entire season until that game. Sean Green, he was getting carries. Like they were getting carries back then. And so like yards per carry stats, like that matters. Like that. He's doing it on less touches. And obviously the touchdowns thing, he's insane. Career-wise, again, one of those things where it's going to be weird because he had injuries and he has had other backs that have been good and helped him out. And in reality, that's probably better for the team. Like, that keeps him healthy. It keeps the running back room healthy. For his individual stats, obviously you'd like to give it to him 70 times a game and just let him see what you can do, but it doesn't always work that way. So, I mean, a lot of those guys on the all-time list, I think you're looking at guys who like played 4 seasons. Caleb's going to do it in 3.
What's up, Dean?
He's absolutely gone. Like Friday's his last game in a Hawkeye uniform. I'd put a lot of money on that, and that's okay, and that's how it should be with how things are nowadays. So the guy's going to do it in like 30 some games.
Yeah.
Like, I think some of those guys on there, like, God, who is it? Is it Tavian Banks?
Tavian Banks, Cedric Shaw. They did it in like 4 years.
They had 4 years where they were the guy.
And that's all we did.
It's all you did.
Yep.
And you had some of those unbelievable, like, old school offensive lines doing it. It's just like, when you consider that, this kid is special, and he's gonna go get paid, and that's cool. And we had dudes like Wadley arguably is the most like electric, elusive back in Iowa history.
Yes.
LaShawn Daniels, all around really good back. Not as fast, kind of has a little bit of what Caleb had, but was thicker. But I still don't think LaShawn hit as hard as as Caleb does, and he's not as fast as Caleb.
Dude.
Kanzeri was really fast, didn't really have the downhill, like, run you over kind. Wiseman was a fullback that was converted to running back. Like, he obviously had a very different running style. Who else played? Damon Bullock, R.I.P. Derek Mitchell, R.I.P. Like, we had some dudes. What's up, Dean? Dean, probably a great running back in his day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This guy is special. And you're right. He is like one of those, he's probably a once in a decade back. Once in 20 years. We're going to have an episode this off season where we break it down and like really debate it. I think he's done enough to, depending on how you look at it, be considered the best back in the KF era. Sean Green's still up there. It's him or Sean.
Yep.
And whatever angle you look at it from is going to determine who you put 1 and who you put 2. There's not a very wide gap there. I think they're pretty damn close. They might just be 1A, 1B.
He's doing this averaging 20 carries a game. So he was 15 under his average, or 15 over his average last week.
That's
so
insane.
it was 20 touches a game, and this is what he's doing.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm a Niners fan, and I would take him in a heartbeat. Somebody his size, 6'1", 220.
Oh yeah, I think he's a starting running back in the NFL immediately.
He's got Derrick Henry feels, man.
A little bit, yeah. He's not that big,
Nope.
but I don't think anybody is, and he could be the guy. And again, that there's a lot that goes into that too. Can you figure out an NFL system? A lot of times, and you see this a lot in the NFL. You're seeing it this year. Like it depends on you really have to just get lucky with the right fit, the right coordinators, the right team, the right vibe in the locker room, the right management. But he could be a guy.
Nice.
Why is Drake not in the Walk-ons anymore? That's a good question. I mean, I don't even know, to be honest. Like a good answer. Big Brian guy.
Yeah, bro.
Big Brian guy. He obviously last year, like Brian Ferentz, not working out basically was tough on him because Brian is basically the best living father figure that Drake has. So that was tough on him just personally as a former player. And he also got to the point where a lot of fans got to last year where it was like, we're 10-2, but this is tough. Like everybody just has something to bitch and complain about every week. And he got tired of coming on the podcast and doing that. And he's a guy that only does things that are going to serve him. So in a good way. And so he's just like, I'm not worth anything on this podcast anymore. He does still come on our shows that we do like on our Patreon and stuff occasionally. Mm-hmm. And this also coincides with him getting a little bit of a career change / opportunity that requires a lot of his time and requires him to sort of not be in the public light. So that's part of it too. Can we have the other question that he asked? Who can be the next great running back at Iowa? I think they could be. I don't think Moulton or Jazz will be a Caleb Johnson or Sean Green type guy, but you don't need that kind of guy. You just need somebody who can produce, or 2 guys who can produce, and I think those 2 guys will be just fine. And then with Betts at the helm of that room, I think we're just fine. They'll continue to find dudes who are gonna help us be a 2 or 3 running back room and produce a great run game. We just have to continue to find an O-line. That's more important.
Yes, that's
yeah.
true.
I think I agree. We'll be fine once Johnson's gone. Both those guys are explosive, and we run a lot of zone concepts and the mid zone stuff. So like to have those first 2 steps be explosive, those 2 are explosive, and that's what makes Caleb Johnson great. He's explosive in his first few steps. What makes him even better is when he gets to that next level. He's big enough and fast enough that he's breaking tackles and gone. And we're in good hands. I'm not, like you said, we're not going to see probably another Caleb Johnson for another 10 plus years.
No, definitely not.
Especially with this football. In this day and age of football, man, be lucky if they stay past 3 years, if they're where Caleb Johnson is, and he's not going to stay past 3 years. So
yeah,
can we get more fullback plays?
I think a lot of people would like that, but I don't know if that's in Tim Lester's bag. I mean, we'll get a few every here. I think we will use the fullback just as much as they need to be used in today's kind of offense. But yeah, like Chris says, I think we have other concerns maybe we need to figure out first.
I think we got 2 quarterbacks. I think they'll be fine.
If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback.
Well, we have quarterbacks at least. You're right.
Brad's a big Sully guy. Sorry, Tyler.
I love Sully. I love what Sully's done. He's exciting. I love sort of the rally behind Stratton right now. I think he has potential to actually be the guy. We'll see. Just he has not had nearly enough time in the system or in practice, and that's not going to show on Friday either. Like he needs a bowl prep and a spring I think Sully also rides that line of like, could he be the guy? But that's not what you're. As much as like we're okay with that as Iowa fans, and I love what those guys are doing effort wise. Like, you have to find a guy that is like, when you're talking about your team, there is no up in the air. Is he the guy? Like, no.
Yep.
This is our quarterback. We're solid there. And then you want to talk about other positions as like, oh, this is what we need. Until we get somebody like that where you have and to be quite honest, like anymore, that's probably less found than it is. Like, probably 6 or 8 teams in the Big Ten feel really good about their quarterback.
Yep.
And then the other 10 are like in our position where you're like, we got to go to the portal. We need a guy. That's just
look
the
at
way it's
Maryland.
gonna be. Yeah.
Yep.
They played the backup, not their leading passer that has 2,900 yards and averaging 300 yards a game. They went with the backup, and we chewed his ass up, and they ended up putting in the old boy anyway. So, I mean, you could pass the ball all day, all you want, and still not have a good quarterback.
It's
True.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough to produce, and it's just the reality of it. And a lot of the quarterback situation at Iowa is going to probably look different from the jump. Like, we're talking just even philosophically how they think about quarterback before they even ever go to recruit somebody, and then what the guys they recruit look like, and then the guys that they end up actually getting, what they look like, and then what those guys they get turn into and how quickly they develop as quarterback. That's all going to look different because Tim Lester is the quarterback coach.
Yep.
It could be for worse or for better. I don't know. I'm not saying Tim Lester's like he could be dog shit. I don't know. But it will look different than when it was Brian Ferentz, and that is currently a cause for excitement going into the offseason because, quite frankly, the Iowa quarterback recruiting and development just is what it is. It's just facts. There's no emotional behind this. I played with a lot of them. We just haven't had great quarterback play. And to be fair, you don't need it in the Iowa system if you have elite defense and you just run like Nate Stanley. You need Nate Stanleys, and we just haven't had enough. We have not had enough Nate Stanleys.
Brian, we did have a solid commit last year, but they moved him to wide receiver because he is fast.
Yeah.
And he's big. He's 6'4", and he's qualifies for the 100-meter dash down here in Florida. He's actually from Jacksonville, where I live. So, like, that's all I heard about was this kid and how just a freak of nature he was. So I was like pumped. He's coming to Iowa to play quarterback, and then they moved him wide receiver, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of like that.
I mean, I don't mind having a 6'4" wide receiver who can run 10.4 or whatever, 10.6.
Yeah, he's fast, dude. So, and then next year's class, they got a pretty good one too. I can't remember the kid's name.
Jimmy Sullivan.
That's right. Another Sully, baby.
Another one just for you, buddy.
Oh, shit. All right. Whoa, damn. Time is flying, dude. Let me make sure I got everything. What do you say we pick some games, dude?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah,
You like
buddy.
picking some fun stuff?
I mean, I try my best. I like to think I'm pretty good, but I'm not.
See, me too. We're so good we don't even keep a running tally.
I
That's
feel like
good.
you
It's probably makes you feel better.
It does. Then I don't feel bad about my bullshit I say.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, guest of honor, baby. You get a pick first.
Oh,
Big game.
Yeah, give me the Gamecocks on this.
Gamecocks?
Yeah, they are potentially they're a team right now you don't want to play.
No, dude.
There might be 2 teams in America that you really don't want to play right now. It's the Kansas Jayhawks and the Gamecocks.
We just said that, dude. They're probably one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team right now.
They are. They definitely are.
Sorry to go back to that. Did you see the graphic where if you took away the last 2 minutes of the game, they're 9-2?
Kansas?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. You want to talk about losing some shit, dude. All right, Brandon, who you going with this one?
Boss's team. I'm going with the Cox.
Yeah, I'm going Gamecocks too, man. Like he said, I thought it would run out a couple weeks ago against Missouri, I was wrong. And then last week, they just kept going, dude. I think they take this one. And I think they take it by at least 10 points, to be honest with you.
It'll be an elite matchup. It'd be a great game to go to.
It'd be fun, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good games this weekend, man.
Oh, yeah.
Love
It's
it.
rivalry week, bud.
Hell yeah, man. But sometimes that don't always pan out like this next
No.
one. This one hasn't been good until this year. I can't wait for this one. Is this still is this Saturday or is this Thursday?
There's only one game on Thursday, I think. I believe might be Friday. I'd have to look. I think
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. Tyler, who you got?
I think I'll take Texas here. I think that experience matters, and obviously Texas has, over the past couple of years, they've been in some big time spots, big time games, and they are trying to establish themselves as part of the SEC now, like as a big dog, and not what Oklahoma's doing. Texas A&M has been a little bit inconsistent, and I think Texas wins this. This essentially is like a playoff game to get into the SEC championship. So I'll take Texas.
I'm going with Texas too. Same reasons. I know I'm not a Texas fan. I want to put the horns down, but I got to be logical. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Texas covers this one.
Same. I'll just go. Yeah. Who's the quarterback? Is it Quinn still, or is he? I can't remember.
I don't think it matters.
It don't matter. Well, I like Arch, so I think he's good, but
yeah, he is good.
Texas. Clean sweep across the board. All right, after last week, this is more intriguing. Could be a pretty good game. Oklahoma LSU.
I'll take LSU. Oklahoma's not going to do something funny twice. I'll take LSU. Yeah, I mean, if they beat, I guess in Norman they could be very optimistic if they can beat Bama and LSU in back-to-back weeks. I just don't. It's how hard. Like, how many SEC teams have done that over the past 100 years? They beat Bama and LSU back-to-back weeks.
Probably not many.
I don't think Oklahoma is going to pull that off in the first year of the SEC. Give me LSU.
Brandon, who you got? This is your second team.
Yeah, I'd cheer for Oklahoma. Thank you, Bob Stoops, former Hawkeye.
Yeah, for sure.
Hurts my heart to say this, but I don't think Oklahoma has last week 2 weeks in a row, and I'm going to take LSU, and it's also in Death Valley at night, and it's very hostile. So
yeah,
it's really difficult to play there.
Yeah, I'm taking LSU by at least 2 tutties on this one, dudes.
But I wouldn't be shocked.
Last week, dude.
I wouldn't be shocked if Oklahoma did win, though, to be honest with you. But
I would probably be shocked, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. Like he said, Georgia might be the only one that has done that, and maybe that's one time.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really hard to do.
What's usually been pretty badass game lately, just for history, tradition, and the Big Ten, I figured we'd go with this one. Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State, huge favorite, dude. 20.5. Who you got?
Yeah, I think Ohio State's gonna. It might be 40. I think they're gonna crush these guys. I think Michigan's in trouble.
I do too.
Like, usually there's just enough. Even if there's, I would usually in a game like this take the underdog on the points or whatever, plus line. There's just not enough to keep them in range here. Like they can't throw the ball.
No.
This could 20.5 is almost. It's almost so low. It's almost so low that I'm wondering, like, do they know something, and is Michigan gonna like win this game outright? Like, that's how silly it is. Like, I literally think Ohio State could win by 50 if they wanted to.
I think it started at like 23 or 24 or some shit like that.
I don't know. I think Ohio State clears.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think, honestly, maybe not 51, but I think we can see a 40 plus in this one. I'm taking Ohio State covering easy. Brandon, what do you got?
Is Michigan back to the Brady Hoke days or something? Or is Portnoy going to change that?
For this year, it feels like it, yeah.
Yeah, until they get their $10.5 million quarterback next year.
Flip from LSU to freaking Michigan.
There's not a single player, quarterback included, that's worth that amount of money. Like, he's not going to have that much effect. At some point, the money is more than the effect he's going to have on a football team. Like, that kid could literally fail a class or something and like not be eligible, and like it's crazy the kind of commitment there financially that some people are willing to put into these kids. There's actually a better chance that kid never plays a meaningful snap for Michigan than him becoming a starter for a full season or more. Like, yikes.
What if the money don't pan out? Does he leave like the UNLV quarterback does? Just say, you ain't paying me.
I think he'll probably get paid. I mean, if I'm him, I feel great about it.
Oh yeah, $10 million and you're 18 years old. Shit.
That's the other thing. You hand a kid that kind of money, like how much trouble is he gonna go get in? A lot, probably.
I can tell you what 18-year-old me would have did, dude. Fuck, nothing good. Not a damn thing good. All right, before we pick the last game, I want to pick an honorary game. Little brother, I want you to pick Iowa State, Kansas State with us. Winner, they win, they go to the Big 12 championship, and they get their first 10-win season. Do they get it done in Ames? K-State.
Yeah, I think they do. I don't know if I have a good reason for it. The best reason might just be that they play really well when the weather's terrible. And I
remember the snow game last year?
Yeah, that's some of the pictures from that game are like that unbelievable. I don't really have a good reason. I do think being at home helps. I think knowing that you can go to the Big 12 championship helps.
It's the biggest game in program history.
They could very easily lose. I mean, they could lose. They could lose by 14, and I'd be like, yeah. If they lost by more than that, I'd be a little surprised. But they could lose by 2 scores easily, and I'd be like, yeah, that's not surprising. Like I think those are 2 very close teams, actually.
Yep. They're very similar.
The Big 12 as a whole is very interesting to me. It's chaos, and I think it's just fun as a college football fan to see this year. It's kind of funny.
Brandon, who you got?
Iowa State.
Yeah, I agree. I think they get it done, man. Biggest game program history. Good for them, man. Congrats to them. I hope they do it. All right, that's enough of them. Moving on. The big one, baby. Big game. Going for 9-1 in the last 10 seasons, dude. That's impressive when you think about Nebraska. And, I mean, look at the overall record. We were nowhere close until we've just gone on this tear of just owning them, which I love personally. I have a bunch of Nebraska friends, dude, and it's been fun. And ever since their AD said they didn't want to be like Iowa, they've only won 2 games.
It's true.
Bad coaching.
I
do unfortunately think that Rule is – I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, I think he's probably the best coach they've had since Pelini. Not probably, he is. And they're better. I think Iowa wins this game. I really do think it will come down to a field goal again. Like, it
always does. Always does, man.
Like, as much as I'd like to say it's just because it has 50% of the time recently, I think for like other reasons too. I think legitimately, if you look at these teams, it will come down to a field goal. Both are pretty good special teams wise. Caveat that their kicking game isn't the best. Their punting game is elite. Our special teams and turnovers and penalties have been pretty damn good all season. That's how you win these games.
Yep.
Very, very interested to see how Raiola plays in the cold. It's going to be fucking freezing.
Yeah.
Especially at night.
It's going to be horrid. This is the kind of game where I'm so happy I don't play anymore. I was soft back then, and I'm even softer now, and it's horrible to have to perform in this.
How soft were you in 2015 during that Nebraska game?
I dressed like it was 90 degrees out. I didn't wear sleeves. I didn't wear tights. I wore nothing. And the only thing I have to show for that is the fact that I can tell people that now and be like, yeah, I didn't. Short sleeves, dude. Bearskin. Got me nothing. We did win that game going away, so that was nice. But
it was fun. I was there.
That explains it.
I do think Iowa wins the game. I think maybe Kinnick is just the edge. These two teams, vastly different seasons, equally confusing in some ways, completely different in others. I think they're very similar when it comes to, like, you know, you line these 10 teams up against, or these two teams up against like 20 or 30 other teams, and they come out with a very similar record against those teams. Yep. Field goal. I really think it's a field goal. And I think it goes under something like 17-14.
I could totally see that. Brandon, you want to go?
Sure. Well, I just think, I mean, like I was telling Brad before the show kicked off, even if I was to pick Nebraska to win, I think it would have immediately flipped as soon as I found out like that the game is at night and then they were doing blackouts. There's something about Kinnick at night that this team just turns into a bunch of freaks.
Yeah. And
I don't see that changing. However, what I do see happening is I do think going forward, I think the series is going to go back and forth. I don't think, especially with Rule being a coach and Raiola, I'm guessing he's going to stay most of his time. I think he's going to be, to be honest, I think he's going to be in New York. Not saying he's going to win the Heisman. I think he'll be a finalist within the next 2 to 3 years. Nebraska's trending up. Iowa, I think, can still trend up. We'll see how the offseason goes. So, like, it's just going forward, it's going to go back and forth. The rivalry's going to build even more, and just everybody's going to talk shit about each other's corn. I think it's going to be 24-21 Iowa. I just Rail is a freshman. I don't see anything. And then another thing I forgot to tell you guys. So the black shirts to me aren't that special this year, at least. They remind me a lot of like some of the stuff we've seen with our guys too. Like if you like, they get beat a lot. Like there's one specific cornerback, Malcolm Hartzog. If you throw it his way, guarantee you your receiver will catch the ball. So just like if you're going to pass the ball there, Stratton, aim towards the receiver that Hartzog's covering. I swear to God, every time he'll catch it. So 24-20 Hawks just this year. It's going to go back and forth. Brad, maybe next year we'll go to Lincoln. How's that sound?
Man, if I can get up from Florida, I'm there.
All right.
Yeah, man, I think that this game's going to come down to those trenches, dude, especially their strength of their defense is their rush defense. They're 21st in the country right now. They give up 110 yards a game rushing. It's going to come down to the trenches, man. If we do what we do, Caleb Johnson gets his 135 average, and we play Iowa sound football, which is special teams, bend but don't break defense, we're taking this game. And I think also it's a 3-point game. And I just similar reasons. I mean, very similarly built almost, but not quite. Rule is definitely going to take them to that next level, but I think the Hawks win, dude. I think it's going to be a 2017 game. It's going to be fun. I kind of wish I could be there because I've always wanted to have a night game against Nebraska and Kenneck. But same time, living in Florida now, I can't do that cold shit no more, man. It's 50 degrees here, and I want to turn my heater on.
Hey, but guess what, though? Guarantee if they win this game, they're coming back to your area, so you have nothing to worry about.
Hey, man, if that's the case, come on down, boys. You're more than welcome.
Fly me down, buddy. Fly my whole family.
I have to pay for the whole dime? Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Clean sweep, baby. I love it. Cool, man. Well, Tyler, it's been fun, dude. I appreciate you taking the time to
Thank you.
Join an up-and-coming podcast. You're one of the few I actually watched before I actually started this, and then Brandon's been plugging all these podcasts at me. So it's been awesome having you on, dude. It's been a pleasure. You're welcome on anytime, obviously. But yeah, man, if you want to let Hawk Nation know where they can find you, I know most of them have probably seen your podcast, but give a plug, man, and we'll send it out.
Most of them have seen it, and then probably 80% were like, that's not for me. The podcast is called Washed Up Walk-ons. I'm Tyler Kluver. That's about it. They can find us wherever. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube's been growing. We're going on 4,000 subscribers over there, so trying to build that up. It's an operation. I know, like we talked about earlier, how much goes into this. I've been doing 6 podcasts a week this season. So I'm doing one a day. One of them is like my own. It's not the walk-ons. It's something else. But 5 podcasts a week for the walk-on stuff, and it's all I do. Talk on the microphone a lot. I'm constantly sick of listening to myself talk. God, it's just a blur in my ears now. But I appreciate you guys having me on. It was fun. I know how hard it is to get guests on, and like that's a huge thing. So when people ask me to come on, it's almost always like absolutely, like I can be there. So
heck yeah, man,
it was fun.
All right, well, sweet Hawk fans. Tyler, thanks again, and Friday, baby. Hopefully you're not too stuffed on some turkey to see some Hawks take home the victory. We're on next week, or we take a 2-week break?
We're taking a 1-week break. And happy Thanksgiving, Tyler.
Yeah, you guys as well.
You, man. Enjoy it. Hawk fans, you guys have a good Thanksgiving, and as always, go Hawks, guys.
Go Hawks,
Take care, y'all.